Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Team Venom Comics podcast. I'm your host, Rory Bailey. I'm joined by Rich Perotta, creator and writer and illustrator of Incantesi.
Yep.
Firstly, welcome to the show, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. It's been a great read, and I've had a few Constantine and Doctor Strange vibes from it while reading through it. Were they your influences for this, or?
Yes, they were my influences, but not as far as not as far as the character development is concerned. I mean, obviously, the Incantesi, the character, her name is Cassandra. She's obviously female.
Yeah.
And there's different circumstances in her life that are different from Constantine's and Doctor Strange's, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm also including a couple of other people in her life that are going to care about her, that are going to love her. But there's going to be other elements of that where there's going to be a little bit of an upheaval in the family dynamic, as well as the friendship dynamic and everything in her world. Because the whole stretch of the story, the timeline for it is barely a week. So you're going from, she's a dancer who's performing at La Scala Theater in Milan, and then all of a sudden, she's a sorceress of great power that she barely knew that she had such great power. And you go from dancer to demigod in less than a week with all the stuff that you learn. It's not going to be, to me, it's not like a Mary Sue type thing where it's like she becomes all powerful and she just knows what to do. She does not, and there's going to be stumbling, there's going to be failing. She's going to get her butt kicked a couple of times. But, over time, we don't really know how she's going to go, because I don't want to make it seem like it's going to be all happy and games and stuff like that. That's not really realistic. You have triumphs and everything, but you also have failures. And that's how you grow as a human being. You learn from that. And that's what I'm trying to do, to make sure that it's not too like cliche, like a Star Trek episode where everything is solved in 48 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping I can take it. I have a feeling that I will take it past the 4 chapters that I'm going to do it for, because for chapters 2, 3, and 4, I'm going to include a prologue and an epilogue of events that happened about 250 years ago and regarding to the Incantesi clan. So yeah, this is going to be, it's something that I'm very ambitious about, and I'm going to take for a couple of years at least.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
What specifically made you want to create this book, and where did the idea come from?
For the longest time, I worked for my first professional art job was Marvel Comics, and I wound up being an inker for them for about 10 years. You name the title, I probably inked a page or a few issues on it, with the exception of Doctor Strange or The Punisher. That's funny how that happened. What else? How it came to be was something as innocuous as a request for a commission. And I should have mentioned it to you. And if you could put it in, if you could describe it at the end of the show and everything. An actress from Italy, her name is Sofia Broccani.
Yeah.
She asked me to draw a commission for her, and I was like, okay, what should we do? And she goes, I was wondering if you could make me like magical or something, or something like that and the other. And I'm like, you know what, I'll do this. So I drew a picture of her. I drew a picture of a character who has like mystic powers and stuff, kind of a little bit like a gypsy, but not. And I superimposed her face on it, which was easy. So she loved it. We talked about it a little bit more and stuff. And then, nothing after that. Well, maybe about a month or 2 afterwards, I decided, I really don't like working for people anymore that much. So how about I just do this, myself? 1 second, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Sorry, my throat's dry. And so I was thinking, okay, what am I going to do? I realized that a lot of my characters I made when I was a kid, like in the late 80s, early 90s or something like that. And I realized, you know what? These characters really suck. They're really terrible. They are absolute Shrek. Why would I even think of an outfit that looks like that? Not going to use it. So anyway, I was like, what am I going to do? I put it back out of my mind. And then as I was rummaging through some art on my really large table that I made, I see the commission underneath it. I wasn't too sure when I was going to send it to her, because, I was living in the United States at the time, and sending something by mail over to like Italy or something is about a good 50, 60 American dollars, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay. I looked at the drawing, and all of a sudden, the whole story came to my head within like a minute. I
Nice.
mean, a very raw version of it, but it was there. And I was like, I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this, and that, and also because it's like, I was excited about it because it's something completely against the grain than what I'm used to doing, like superhero, blah, 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 this, that, and the other, like really big, brawny dudes, which I love comic books like that because, they're superheroes and I lift weights. So I want to look like that, which I never will. But I know, right?
I feel you.
Well, it's a stretch also, it also challenged me a bit because it's like, okay, now I have to draw a character who turns out she is a dancer, and I have to learn a little bit about ballet. I have to learn about some theaters. I have to do all this stuff. I really immersed myself into this project. But the one thing that I did before anything else, I messaged Sophia and I asked her, is there any way that I can use her likeness? And she goes, absolutely. I'd love to see that. That would be amazing. And from there on, it was golden. I mean, the first issue took me about 6 months to do totally. I had some when I came to the United Kingdom. I moved here, from the United States to the United Kingdom. As soon as I got here, 2 weeks after I got here, there was a quarantine, and then about four weeks later, which was fun, I found out I had cancer.
Oh wow! Sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah, fun stuff. And what happened was that it turns they didn't know where it was.
Yeah.
So they had to do an exploratory surgery. So at my age, they took out my tonsils, and that completely sucked because it was like I couldn't eat anything for like a couple of weeks at least because it was too painful. Turns out the cancer was not in my tonsils. Thanks, guys. Yes, it was like. Then they found they did a little bit more of it. They did a PET scan and another MRI just to make sure. And they're like, okay, we know where it is. It's in the lymph nodes, so we got to go there. Which was right over here. It was between my pec and my deltoid. So I don't know if you notice it, but there's a nice long incision.
Oh wow!
Right there. Yeah, they almost decapitated me. So it's like just to reach in and get there because they had to go through the muscle. That was fun, but luckily, towards the end of November, which ironically was on the American holiday Thanksgiving, I was told that I was cancer-free.
Now that's brilliant.
So,
I'm glad that it's.
It was, but during that whole time, that's when I was drawing and coloring and making sure that I was writing the first chapter of Incantesi. And I released the first chapter through Kickstarter. I had a modest goal, about 1,100 quid, and I got that in about 6 days.
Wow.
And I wound up with 2,500 something, give or take, by the end of the campaign, which was great. And just about every single person that has read that so far either love it, you said it, or it's like, but they can't wait for the next issue to come out. So that's why I've been a little bit obsessed with it. But I'm like, all right, I gotta stop because I'm drawing myself nuts. I mean, I drew 36 pages in a month. Plus, I also colored a cover. I already have the plot gotten down. I read the plot for number 3 down. I have an idea in my head how 4 is going to go. I've been pushing myself a little bit too much. But without realizing it, I'm a little bit ahead of schedule, believe it or not, because the Kickstarter for the second chapter is going to come out in late June. So I could take a little bit of time and fortify myself and make sure I do everything right this time, because the first Kickstarter, and this is for anybody who's a publisher who wants to start, it does not matter how prepared you will be for your first Kickstarter, you will mess up. No matter how brilliant you are, you will mess up, but you will get better. You will see the things that happen, and you'll see any potential monetary loss or time loss, and you will manage it and you will be more efficient. There's nothing more memorable than a mistake that cost you time and money. Trust me.
Yeah.
But yes, that's how it came to be. And I'm having way too much fun. I doubled my Twitter followers, tripled my Instagram, doubled my Facebook. I have 120 subscribers on my YouTube channel, where last week I had 50, 40 maybe. And it's been a whirlwind. A lot of people see the video. Well, a lot of people do see the videos that I have. I mean, I have live videos of me drawing the actual pages of the book itself, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, I'm out of oxygen. You may talk.
Fair enough. One of the things that I was going to ask you, I've just finished
Please.
my own run. What advice would you give someone like myself who's new to comic creating?
Do it for the love. Don't do it for the money yet. The money, I would have been happy if my Kickstarter hit 1,101 quid. I wouldn't have cared because I just wanted to get it out and I wanted to make enough copies, just send it out there and just build for like a convention. You know, I don't mind the slow build.
Yeah.
Don't expect any type of huge success, but anything you do that gets you to have the title that you have out there and it's finished and it looks good and you're proud of it and you like it, that's its own reward. That's its own reward. And it's a greater reward is when you look at it and you question yourself, what could you have done better? You know, that's another thing you have to do. After you finish whatever campaign it is or anything, always have a post-mortem, just like they do in video game design. Have a post-mortem. It's saying, okay, what was good? What was not so good? What was a pain in the ass? What could be scheduled better? What can be done better? What doesn't have to be done? How can we streamline it? Because the one thing you want to do more than anything, especially if they love your comic, is you want to get it out quicker. You don't want to sacrifice quality for it, but you want to get it out quicker. So ergo, you have to be you should be a little bit more efficient in your process on how everything is laid out. You know, so it may require a little bit more scheduling. It may require having someone else working for you or something along those lines. But if you're persistent with it and you love what you do, then you will be good. If you are doing this strictly for the popularity and for the money, do not do it. Do not, because for two reasons. One, you're cluttering up the market for people who actually want to do it. And B, if you're really not into it, people will know. Yeah. People are going to know. You know, if there's a way of understanding whether someone loves what they do or not. And me being very energetic about everything when it comes to that, I love the character that I put together. I've fallen in love with Cassandra and everything that she's doing. And it's a part of me because it's something that I created myself and I put out there and people like. You know, if you put something out there that people like and they look to you and say, I can't wait until you give me the next issue. I hope I can see some of the art when you put it together. Oh my God. That it is so wonderful when you hear that, you know, the thrill of creating is the best, absolutely the best. You know, so yeah, love what you do. Quincy Jones even said it best, love what you do it for the love, because the money will come right after.
That sound advice, thank you. You mentioned earlier about working for Marvel and doing quite a bit of inking. What was your experience like for them? And is there any work there in particular that you're proud of?
Any work that I'm particularly proud of? I'm proud of just getting there. You know, I'm proud of just getting there. I mean, I don't have a favorite character. I don't have a favorite book. I don't have a favorite anything. I independently try to learn how to draw comic books. I mean, I didn't go to art school per se. I mean, I took art classes and I read some books on perspective and film staging and stuff like that and painting, you know, and I wanted to do that. And the school that I had, I wound up getting an internship there. And then 2 months later, I got a job, you know, full time for a year. And then I became a freelancer for 10, you know, it's like, you know, it was a dream of mine ever since I was 12 that I wanted to work at Marvel Comics. And that's exactly what I did. And it's like, just getting there, just getting there and seeing your name printed on the front cover of a Marvel comic book. That happened about 70 or 80 times in my life working for them. Wow. It's like mind blown, you know. And the same thing I stopped at Marvel in 2004, 2005. I did the whole domesticated thing for a little bit. And then I decided in 2010, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like working again. So it's like, I sent a portfolio into DC and I worked for them for 2.5 years. So it's like I climbed both those mountains, man, and
Awesome.
it's because it's going back to like putting out your own comic. You got to love what you do. You have to make this a passion. This isn't a 9 to 5 thing. It never is. It never will be. Not in this world. I mean, unless you're completely precise and you don't feel like eating or getting up at all from your chair, maybe it's 8 hours a day. But no, it's something that's a lot more than 8 hours a day. And you're not going to, if you love it, you're not going to worry about the hours. You're not going to worry about the social life that you may be potentially missing. You're not going to miss worrying about watching that TV show that you wanted to watch, because it'll wind up on Netflix anyway, and you'll stream it later. It's like there are far more important things than just doing all the ancillary stuff that people do after they get home from work or whatnot. I mean, if there's something that you believe in and you love it, you push and you love it. You love the whole thing. You don't consider it work. You're going towards something that you want. And if you love it enough, with any type of luck, you will get it. One way or the other. It's just a matter of time.
That's awesome. Are there any other projects you've got lined up other than Incantesi, or is this your main focus for the foreseeable future?
Well, I've been working for Inverse Press over in the United States for about 6 years at this point. I've worked on a few graphic novels that they had, a couple of limited series. And for the last 4 years, I've been drawing and inking only, not writing or coloring or anything. Biographies of wrestlers from yesteryear. Wow. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I have something. Give me a sec. This one's my favorite one because he's my favorite wrestler of all time. And it's like, ta-da!
Oh wow! I didn't know that even existed.
it exists. Yes, it does.
That's awesome.
You got one. I'll send you one of these too.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Gangrel. That's my cover art right there. Wow. Yummy. I know, right?
Yeah.
And I've worked on so many of these. I worked on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I'm still on that.
Wow.
Bruno, one of the girls from Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, Sunny Smiles. She's actually my friend, a good friend of mine.
Wow.
The Rock and Roll Express. Who else? Oh my God, Bruno Sammartino.
Wow.
Oh man. Yeah, I know. And it was that's a story in and of itself. We finished the first issue. We finished all the principal art, and it was about to go to press. The day that the book was going to go to press is when he passed away.
Wow.
Yeah, and the editor-in-chief, Kevin, the writer, John, and we all kind of talked about it. And I said, I put it out there. I'm like, look, on my end, if they don't want this out there, we can't. We can't. And Kevin, the editor-in-chief, he was like, oh, I've already thought of that. And like, yes, if we can't. I mean, whatever it is. So we were going to wait they were going to wait about 6 weeks. I was just a pissant artist. They were going to wait about 6 weeks to talk to the family of Bruno Sammartino. And then 2 weeks after he passed on, his son messaged and called, Kevin and John and said, Dad wanted this, so put it out there. So the first issue's out. I just finished the art for issue 2. I finished the art for issue 2 of Rock and Roll Express. And I finished this one while I was drawing the Incantesi as well. And the Gangrel one, this one over here, he has a huge following in the United States. Do you know who Gangrel is?
I'm a big wrestling fan myself.
Yeah, he's a friend of mine too on social media. The guy, he and I are friends, and we haven't talked in a bit, but he's all over the damn place. The Kickstarter for this one was so successful in such a short time. They're doing an issue 2.
Nice.
Because it goes up to it goes from his humble beginnings to his first appearance in WWF before it became WWE. So we got this stuff here. That's the last page where it's like he's entering the stage on Sunday Night Heat when he faces, I forgot who the hell it was. It's actually on the first page here. Yeah, like right over here or something. This is my art. For
that's amazing.
Gangrel. Thank you. The color did a great job. And yeah, that's fun. I do that on a consistent basis. The next one I'm going to do, which is supposed to start soon, but the writer got COVID, but he's recovering, is going to be Terry Funk.
Wow, I didn't know that was in the works either. Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be Terry Funk. So it's like, yeah, we're going to have some fun with that one. I can't wait. You know, I already have I have to get all the reference that I need to get. So yeah, I mean, as much as I would with Bruno Sammartino and Gangrel, of course, I will treat, well, everybody really, I will treat their likenesses and their book with the utmost respect, because these guys are real life superheroes, man.
Yeah,
if you really think they're mountains of strength and power and beauty with Sunny and all the other lady wrestlers and stuff, you know, and they look like superheroes to me, and they always were. You know, I mean, when I was a kid watching the WWF and I'm watching Gangrel come down, he was my favorite wrestler.
Yeah,
Never in my life did I think I would draw a damn comic about him. I mean, holy crap. I'm like, what? He called me on the phone. He called me on my phone. He's like, is Rich Perotta there? And I go, yeah, who may I ask is calling? Oh, it's David Heath. And I go, wait, why is that name familiar? Because I'm Gangrel. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. Man, the stuff that happens, man, I gotta tell you, you know, membership has its privileges, you know, and not without hard work, not without persistence. I'm not going to say hard work. I'm going to say persistence, because, you know, again, if you love what you do, which of course I do, good things happen after a while. As long as you do the right thing, you don't be an ass to anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, that's one of the things I'm doing. Another indie title or two. But if Incantesi chapter 2 does at least 50% more business as far as monetary earnings than the first one, then I know I have something. So we're going to see what happens. I mean, one way or another, I'm definitely going to finish 4 chapters, no matter what. Yeah. But if I'm doing well and it's working out for me, then I'm going to keep that going. I'm also going to see if I could submit it to some like third-party publishers. I'm going to put together a package for Image. I'll put together a package for maybe Dark Horse or whatnot. I mean, I may do that during my break, but I'm also going to wait until like I finish the second issue to make sure I get everything right. Yeah. But yeah, you know, everything's a progression. All this started in 2019. It's now May 2021, but it's worth the time that you spend on it. Absolutely.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much for your time. It's been awesome chatting to you. And
dude, I'm happy. I'm honored you had me here, man.
I'll be more than happy to have you back on as soon as, well, whenever you like, really. So
yes. Let's do this in another. We'll talk after, but whenever you want, man. That's fine with me. I'm pleased. Whatever it is.
No, that's awesome. So for the benefit of our viewers and such, what's your YouTube and Instagram and all your social links?
Okay. My YouTube, my Instagram, my Instagram is at the Incantesi. That's one. My Twitter is don't laugh. Greystoke with the numbers 2 and 0 following it. I don't know why. I love the name Greystoke. I have no idea why. I think because I saw Greystoke, the Legend of Tarzan, and I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Highlander's in it. There's the YouTube channel that you want to look for. It is called, I'm such an ass. It's called The Richness. Well, I wanted to do something goofy for it. I have like an icon there. If you type in The Richness, if you look for like channels or something like that, you might be able to find it. You know, but if anything, I could just message you the link to it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll put them all in this for the benefit of the viewers.
You know what I'd like to do also, if that's okay with you, I want to give you the link to the Kickstarter. It's in pre-launch mode right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we can do that. I'll give you the link for the Incantesi chapter 2. I'm also going to give you the link for chapter 1 because I want whoever wants to look, I want you to look at what was done first, and then you can jump on to chapter 2. And I'm going to start updating that campaign a little bit more. So if anybody who looks at the chapter 2 Kickstarter, click on the green button that says notify me, and you will know you will absolutely know when the Kickstarter begins, which it's going to begin June 27th at about 11:30 p.m. So what I'll do is I can either get with you on like the day before or the day after or whatnot, and we'll just go from there. And I'll just pretend like, hey, we're here, we're launched again, so let's see what happens. But yeah, we're gonna go for it.
I think you're around about half an hour away from it, because you're in Nottingham, aren't you? I think.
I am. Well, so if you want to put it that way, yeah.
Yeah. so at some point over the next few months, we'll have to go out for a beer or something sometime.
Oh, for the first 2 pints are on me, my friend. Truth. Well, I'm going to be appearing at, as far as I know, I'll be appearing at a couple of shows. Well, actually about 5. It was St. Albans, a couple of others. I'm going to be at the MCon in late August.
Okay.
You know, and there's going to be another event that's going to be, I forgot where it was, about 5 hours away from me. But I'll let you know which ones I'm going to appear at. But since it looks like that we're actually going to have events again, I will be appearing at all of these events with copies of Incantesi 1, definitely Incantesi 2. And as the months progress, I'll probably have issue 3 there. And it'll be me, you'll be able to run into me and stuff like that. And, you know, I'd love to say, it doesn't matter if anybody buys anything, it's nice, but I prefer to meet people instead of like say, hey, let's just buy this. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
I'd rather engage with the fans. That's another thing. Engage with people. You know, get to not get to know them personally, but you know, talk with people, especially if you do a live show. You know, acknowledge that they're there, say hi, blah blah blah. Be appreciative. That I mean, that's a general thing anyway, but that's what I do. But yeah, you know, just be yourself. Really, I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. Oh, water.
No, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you again real soon.